We had a nice weekend off, but the blokes are back down under to watch another Red Bull dominating victory. It's lights out and away we go for episode 134 of the Eaton Asphalt podcast. All right, so I'm gonna take this weekend off as like everyone's coming back, everything's fair game, and the first 2 weeks were just like an outlier.
Oh yeah.
Is that the way I should be thinking about this?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That
All
was
right.
the exception to the rule. The rule is chaos. But yeah, we are back. There's no telling who's gonna do what here. No telling who's gonna be on top, which makes this sport exciting to watch. Or else.
Or else you're gonna watch regardless. You guys, right? All right. On this episode of the podcast, it's gonna be pretty quick. No two for ones this week. On this episode of the podcast, we have our recent news, our headline grabs, the Australia Grand Preview, and then country fun facts. So our two truths and a lie. See if we can go 3 for 3 on this one for the boys. Our gambling paddock, and then our race prediction. Going on our recent news, we have Helmut Marko leaving Red Bull. We have Pierre Gasly, just had enough of Alpine and is focusing his efforts on soccer. It only took 2 races for Stake F1 to officially be kicked out of the Australian Grand Prix, but we're here on race number 3. And then our last recent news is Susie Wolff is trying to take down the FIA, filed for a formal criminal complaint against them. Let's circle back. Let's dive a little bit more into it, huh?
Let's do it. So Helmut Marko leaving Red Bull. True? Not true? Who knows?
Somewhere in
Right?
between?
I think a lot of people are hoping just to, it's kind of like one of those things where to kill the snake, you got to cut off its head. To kill the Red Bull domination, you got to cut off its helmet.
I like that.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, all this speculation, anytime this kind of stuff comes up, especially at this point in the season, and especially with the previous 2 races, I just get too in my head of like, I'm just trying the media, Liberty Media, who owns F1, is just jingling keys, and my dumbass is just like looking at it, being like, "Oh, that's making this exciting." When in reality, it's just been pure domination on the track. But I don't know if you had to put your entire life savings and future earnings on Helmut Marko being at Red Bull by the end of the season or not, where would you go?
He'll be there.
All right, and
I
that's
think things are
legally
just gonna.
binding.
All right, where do I send it? Where do I send my money that I'm going to lose to, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like this stuff is just going to slowly, people are going to be like, yeah, I don't like, Helmut's going to be like, yeah, I don't like Christian. Christian's like, I don't like all these people. But they're going to learn, just like everyone else that doesn't like their coworkers, they're going to learn to live with them and they're going to suck it up. And I think that's what's going to happen for the entire Red Bull team, unfortunately.
I believe you're right. Unfortunately, I think they're going to just bank on the time heals all wounds thing and just say, look, eventually this is going to peter out. Who knows? Maybe there's a surprise winner in Australia, and that's where everybody's attention gets to focus on
Ooh.
differently. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it does. I will say the counterpoint to my argument is that I think like it has gone on longer than just like let's hope it pitters out type thing.
Yeah.
It feels like we've been at this for 6 weeks, which is I think far longer than the regular news cycle in any sport, especially Formula One. But yeah, I don't know. If I had to put, I'm kind of with you. I think he's going to still be there. I don't think Red Bull really. Christian Horner said no single person is more important than the team before all this happened, and then all this happened, and he's just like, look, we're focused on Australia and like moving forward.
Let's not talk about the past, right?
Right.
Come
Yeah.
on, that's boring.
The past
Yeah,
is
I mean,
for losers.
I kind of like the idea of if so for some reason, some crazy reason, Red Bull on merit loses in Australia, they're going to be like, it's because of the turmoil within the team. Everything's going down. We got to switch it up. There's so much hate going around. That's what I need. That's what we all need.
That's a kind of a good point. Yeah, Red Bull will probably have more pressure than ever right now because if they do, if they
Keep the
even
team
don't get a
together.
one, if they don't get a 1-2, then it's like, well, then thanks a lot, Christian, your fault.
Yeah, yeah. Something's got to change.
Yeah. Why don't you talk
All
about
right.
Peter next?
Yeah. So, like we said, Pierre Gasly done with Alpine, focusing his efforts onto soccer. So he's acquired stake in FC Versailles. Similarities between Alpine and FC Versailles, probably why he made the investment in there, is they're both French and both 10th in their division. So I guess just like, he's like similarities. It's like this feels comfortable. There we have a team in a division, bottom of it. So yeah, see, he has officially joined ranks into being a soccer owner.
You know how they say like comedians always want to be rock stars always want to be comedians? Do you think that there's any like you think that carries over in Formula One where the drivers want to be like soccer players or, I
I
guess
think so.
just soccer
It's
players?
probably just soccer. Yeah, yeah. I would agree. Danny, I would say football. Danny's a one outlier on that one.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but everyone else soccer.
Valtteri probably wants to be a biker or something like that.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
oh, if only
yeah,
I was
yeah.
better.
Oh
Yeah.
geez. Oh goodness. Yeah. So I mean, it's also interesting. Like, I bet he had to do some sort of like a decent amount of time thinking about if this is an investment, talking to people, like kind of taken away from actually like working on the sport and all that stuff. I wonder if they're just like, there's nothing we can do here. This team sucks.
I imagine I do imagine that you're right there. Like Alpine's like, look, we know it's bad, but to make up for it, kind of like a job negotiation, we're like 2 extra weeks paid vacation from all the other drivers. You get to pursue other hobbies. And he's like,
Yeah.
okay, fine.
Get me out of this. Yeah. Get me doing something else. Yeah. All right, moving on. Like I said, only took 2 races for Stake F1 being kicked out of the Australian Grand Prix. So they're actually going in as Kick Sauber as their title sponsor. Stake is unable to actually go in due to Australia's anti-gambling laws. So it's going to be Australia, Spain, Belgium, and Qatar that will bring back Kick Sauber team over the Stake F1 team that they're currently going by. So switching it up, I also think that they should completely change the delivery and the color and the look of everything if they're going to change the names.
I like that too. Like split personality when people have
Exactly.
like,
And what
yeah,
if they just were incredible? It's like, what happened?
they should
Do
really
we?
buy in. And you know how
Yeah.
Valtteri dyed his hair blonde?
Yeah.
Joe should dye his hair blonde, and then Valtteri goes like red or something like that. We're like, we
Mm.
barely recognize these guys.
Oh yeah, like talk with different accents.
Yeah, they switch accents.
They go in as different people themselves. Valtteri's not Valtteri. It's like, hey, if the team's changing names, we're changing names. Let's switch it up a little bit.
How much flack do you think Valtteri would be like, oh, look, we're Freaky Friday, like we're just gonna kind of
Uh-huh.
switch, and Valtteri's just speaking in a Chinese accent during the press reviews?
Oh yeah, no, that would go really well.
I think so too. Twitter would probably like that a lot.
It will if Guan Yu Zhou was next to him, like nodding the entire time, like it's okay. I think that's fine, right? You just need an ally next to you being like, hey, gave him the okay, you know?
He's just Guan's just back there, like, yeah, it's like it's no, don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah. And then he goes and then he tries his. First of all, I would love to see Guan Yu Zhou try any type of European or American accent. That would be prime. And then I see Valtteri last second be like, whoa, dude, not okay. Get super defensive.
That's awesome. All right, I'll finish up with the last piece of news that we talked about. Susie Wolf trying to take down the FIA. She filed a formal criminal complaint about FIA, saying that silence is complicity and not slandering the good Wolf name. So I guess like a quick just recap of what happened. Toto Wolf and Susie Wolf were claimed to have a conflict of interest, being that whole like married thing or whatever. Sleeping in the same bed, whatever. And so obviously she's head of the F1 Academy. There was some like, hey, like we're not essentially allowed to share certain information. How do we know you're not going to share that information during, some pillow talk? But
Pinky promise.
yeah, exactly.
We swear not to tell.
Sign here and don't worry about it at all because it's not going to affect. But yeah, so now she's filing a criminal complaint, which I don't know. Like, if you file a criminal complaint, Europe's laws just don't make sense to me. You can file a criminal complaint against like an entire organization. Does that mean the entire organization is going to have to face some kind, like the janitor basically of the FIA buildings? Like, well, I didn't say anything about this like slander. Basically, like I get a €500 fine or something like that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like that's not you say this is a European thing. I mean, companies get sued all the time, and not everyone goes down and
That's no, I guess you're right.
yeah,
You're right.
yeah. If someone sued Coca-Cola, it's not like they're going after
I like
every
from a
person at Coca.
Yeah, all right. I was thinking
You
like
know?
business versus like a nonprofit, and the FIA technically I think is categorized as a nonprofit,
Mm.
but I guess you can still sue a nonprofit, can't you?
Yeah, I don't think there's much different. They're supposed to be good people.
For some reason, this is how, man, this is really playing the
Yeah, let's
dumb
break it down. I want to hear
card.
it. Yeah.
In like European court, I imagine it as just 12 people in robes and wigs, and all of them
I
having.
bet it's British court. British court. Hear ye, hear ye.
They don't have a plaintiff and a defendant. They just have like seven different groups of people that give their say, you know.
Yeah.
Dude, have you seen
They
the British Parliament where one person will say it's literally a rap battle. Like one person will say something and like a 30-second basically dig on the person that they're like battling or debating against, and then everyone on their side like claps and there's rounds of applause, and then the next person goes, they literally just pass it back like they're like it's a rap battle. But that's just not rhyming, and it's actually kind of electric to watch.
I will say, also bringing it back to the U.S., kind of like our debates, our electoral debates.
Yeah, that's true.
Trump's out there battling. People on the stand are like, "Hell yeah, brother!"
Can you
Biden's
imagine?
like, "Huh? What? Who said that?" Fuck.
Can you imagine if Donald Trump came out with a rap like his like digs had
That
rhythm?
wouldn't surprise me at all if he actually does do that in some type of fashion this upcoming election, like a
I
music
said,
video and just like someone fake, like a fake actor being Biden and just like terrorizing him.
oh man. All right. Well, that was fun. That was a good recent news update.
Yeah,
Um,
Formula One specific, fellas. That's our
yeah,
thing.
we gave it X's and O's Tech Talk with Marco and Ian. Formula One is back in the land down under for the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne. Australia's a big country, but this race takes place at the very, you know how Australia has that little tiny little divot at the end of it?
Mhm.
That's where the track is in Melbourne, Albert Circuit Park. The track absolutely rips. Aside from it being the easiest track in the F1 video game, it's just beautiful. Like it's wrapped around this beautiful lake, like big downtown park in Melbourne. Very speed focused, like high speed focus is going to be important here. Not so much technical. There's only 14 turns, and a lot of them are kind of like wide, high speed turns going through of it. So back in 2023, 2023, they gave a fourth DRS zone. So there's going to be all kinds of passing here. DRS already has arguably too big of an impact. This is going to make it even more so like that. So count on a lot of overtakes and early overtakes, since the drivers only have one lap that they have to complete before opening that DRS flap. So check out turn one, like eyes on turn one for this race. It's just a badass part of the track where like you always see, if you look up Australia highlights, Formula One, you'll see a lot of stuff on turn one. It's where everybody's jostling for position. And then last year, if you remember, they had 2 red flags, 3 standing starts across the Grand Prix just because of all the chaos, and a lot of it happened in that turn one. So good to keep an eye out for it, and we will pass it over to Weatherman Marco for the weather.
All right, weather I have as Friday is going to be 72 and sunny. Saturday is going to be 70 and partially cloudy. Sunday, 72, partially cloudy. So just prime weather. It's going to be a great time. Also, last year, 2023, 8 DNFs.
8 DNFs. One of
Yeah.
the most I've ever seen in my life in a single race. And that's because people can't do
No rain, no nothing. It was no weather affecting. Like I can see super wet races maybe causing a ton like that. This was just chaos for no reason.
Yeah, no, people decided to crash quite a bit that race. But anyway, very exciting track. It's always good to be back in Australia. It's Danny Ricciardo's hometown. It's Oscar Piastri's home country. So yeah, those Aussie guys are gonna have a good bout, I'm sure.
Blokes.
Yeah. And anyway, with that, let's keep on the Australia tune and go on to our country fun facts in the method of 2 truths and a lie. Before we do that, though, since we're talking about Australia, we do have an advertisement. Thank you very much for the purchasing of our advertisement here at the Eaton Asphalt Podcast from the Melbourne Retirement Home. Life is a celebration. There's good moments, there's great moments, and there's the moment where you should realize it's probably over. Don't be the old guy that sticks around too long. Realize when the best days are behind you and throw in the towel when it's appropriate. At Melbourne Retirement Home, we make retirement a thing that you can celebrate by reliving your best moments while reminiscing on your peak form. Trade in your car keys for shuffleboard sticks. Say goodbye to the overwhelming hustle and bustle of work, and hello to watching the sunset. Nothing is worse than ruthlessly gripping on to the good old days while people wonder if you're going to make room for the new guys. Come on down to the Melbourne Retirement Home and retire with dignity. All right, Marco, how do you want to do this? You want to go first or second?
I'll start it off. Let's do it, right?
Hit me. I'll suss
All
out the
right.
guy that you telling me.
There are 10 times more camels than koalas in Australia. The Australian Alps have more snowfall than Switzerland and France combined. Both kangaroos and emus lack the ability to walk backwards. For this reason, the Australian Army features the animals on their uniforms.
I'm going to go with there's not more camels than koalas.
That is a truth.
What?
Do you want to go 50-50 shot on this last one?
Is it the Alps?
Alps is the lie. It is actually just Switzerland that it has more snowfall in, which is still impressive.
That is more impressive. I didn't even think it would snow in Australia. I thought they were just surfing all year round.
Yeah, that's what the fact kind of is like. Oh, Australia is known for like a beach resort and beach place and do all these like water sports, but it also has a ton of snow.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good job. You fooled me again. I don't know if I've got like one of these right actually. So,
I think the first one you did.
oh, right on. All right, dude.
Yeah.
1 for 3, 33%. Get you into the Baseball Hall of Fame, baby.
Let's go.
All right. I got a lot of truths and a lot of lies. So I wanted to kind of suss it out, see what you were thinking. I'm trying to confuse you here. So number
I'm
one,
pretty sure it's supposed to be two truths, though, right?
right. I'm just gonna pick two based off of how I feel like you're acting, you know?
Done.
I'm like over prepared here. All right. Number one, carrots were outlawed in North South Wales in 1894 due to a growing concern of devilish tendencies among the Noongar Aborigines. Number two, the platform of Google Maps was invented in Australia. And number three, kangaroos have 3 vaginas.
That kangaroo one. That's a lie.
It's actually true, dude.
All right. I was going to go with two. I thought I was going to go with two as the max that any animal could possess. All right. The lie is going to be, it's got to be the Google one.
Google Maps was in fact invented in Australia. Carrots have never been banned in Australia. That is true.
Did that just come out from the dome?
Yeah, dude.
There's no slight change in this fact. All right. That threw me for a loop. All right. 1 for 3 as well.
All right,
Look at
man.
us.
Good stuff. All right, let's that was fun. That's my favorite sector by far, I think. If we do that right, that's my favorite sector. So we'll keep doing that. It stays. Let's move on to let's wrap up the race with our prediction sectors, the gambling paddock and race predictions. Time to make some money for the Eaton Asphalt listeners as a reward for listening to this podcast. All you got to do is risk your hard-earned money and we'll give you more of it maybe. My first one, we're going to start off early on the weekend. Yuki Tsunoda, head-to-head, Daniel Ricciardo, beating Daniel Ricciardo practice 1. So give me, that's even money at plus 100, 1 unit there. I was going to do Red Bull Racing to win in the qualifying car, double unit for minus 250, but I think that's not really what I'm about. You know what I mean? I think I'm going to be better than that. I am going to pick Red Bull to win. Eddie Carr to win by over 12 seconds, winning margin more than 12 seconds. That's at minus 110. And then I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here and say that Yuki Tsunoda, it's one of those fastest qualifier without all the rest of the teams. So without Red Bull, McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, or Aston Martin, so any of the 5 teams that have normally scored points, Yuki Tsunoda to be the fastest, and that's at plus 250. I'm going to put half a unit on that.
Okay. My turn. Just to give everyone an update, I am minus 1.22 minus 1.22 units, 475, 3-3 record, and 3-3 record plus 0.73 units at 514. Mine is going to be McLaren double top six finish plus 120, 1 unit. I think, you got to go with Oscar being home country kid. Got to go with Lando because it's Lando. So I think this is, not bad. Plus 120. Ferrari fastest lap. Plus 500, half a unit on that one. Ferrari fastest pit stop. They've won the first two, plus 300, 0.5 units on that one. And then fastest speed, just fastest speed, top speed. Red Bull plus 225, half a unit on that one. I switched all my I was always a minus money, played safe, and then I've seen you doing well, and I said, fuck it, everything's plus money this time. I definitely can't lose 2.5 units, right? Impossible.
I love it, man. You go into the play. This is how it's fun. You don't win as much money. You lose more money, but it's more fun. And then let's wrap up. Let's wrap up with our race predictions.
I'm gonna go with, who do we think will crash with DNF? K-Mag. Driver of the day, Oscar Piastri. Douche of the day, Yuki Tsunoda. Wildcard prediction, Sargent over Albon.
Take it. Yep.
Fastest lap, Max. How many cars don't finish? 5.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do, for the first time on Eaton Asphalt history, a Danny Ricciardo themed race predictions. So who do I think will crash your DNF? Danny Ricciardo. Who do I think is going to be driver of the day? Danny Ricciardo. Douche of the day, Danny Ricciardo. Wildcard prediction, both Australians don't finish the race. Fastest lap, Sergio Perez. How many cars don't finish? What number is Danny Ricciardo? 3. 3 cars.
Right.
That was kind of fun. Fastest lap, I couldn't do Danny Ricciardo for fastest lap. You understand.
Understand that one. Who was fastest lap? Sorry.
Sergio.
Okay. Fair. I like it.
All right, everybody. Well, this is my best way to do this format. These episodes aren't 45 minutes anymore, and I'm sure that people enjoy that.
They're like longer.
Yeah, dude, that's true. Maybe
come
there's
on.
feedback that people want.
I need that.
All right, everybody. It's third race of the year. It's down in a place that's beautiful. We have a lot of Saturday races to start off the season.
Yeah. Weirdly, I actually don't hate it, to be honest. Gives me something to look forward to on a Friday. Gives me not paying attention to work. I didn't say that legally. And then Saturday, you get to enjoy it. Get little beverages in you.
Yeah. I think I like it maybe 2 at a time for me. 3, like it just, I'm like, all right.
In a row, yeah. Then I'm going to get used to it.
But anyway, all right, everybody. Well, we appreciate y'all for listening. We will see you on the other side of the Australian Grand Prix. See you, assholes.
Hey, thought you could leave without saying goodbye.
I used to say I lived my life a quarter mile at a time. And I think that's why we were brothers. Because you did too.